It has to prepare. We haven't hit it yet.
Oh.
If you had that song ready.
Oh, are you sure? Because I'm hearing
We
something.
haven't hit it yet. Oh. If you had that song ready.
Apparently, it did get it. So.
Oh,
are you sure? Because I'm hearing
We
something.
haven't hit it yet. Oh.
Yep.
You had that song ready. Apparently it did get it. Oh, are you sure? Are we just looping? Oh, that's why. That's kind of funny. Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say when Josh Allen's trending,
It's always for good news.
there can't be anything wrong. So, what do you think about the COVID bills?
I'm good.
All right. Welcome to Game Day 716, where every day is game day. We are live on YouTube, the Game Day 716 channel, and recording on 3 different stations, WBBZ, WQRM, and WMOR. And not WBBZ, because that's real. So here we are, Todd and Noah. We got the old band back together again after you got the new band. So Paul and CJ last week. So this is how we're going to do it from now on. We're going to do Paul and CJ 1 week, Todd and Noah another week, and then all 4 of us together 1 week, and then we're going to restart the track. So that's how it's going to be, and that's how we like it. So you're going to deal with it as our fans. We are live and talking to you right now. So if you have questions, Noah is going to continue to pay attention in the Game Day 716 box, and he will answer them as we go. Noah, did you watch the season finale of Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was a very actually good finale.
I thought so too. Anya Joy
Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was Taylor, but then I thought she did pretty well.
Yeah, she was actually really good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think they did a good job like keeping her honed in because she didn't seem that comfortable.
I think that's also just the way she is, though. Like she kind of gives off like that's just kind of the way her personality
like a quirky vibe.
Yeah, she's like shy and quirky, and like that's the way I am, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, those aren't the best people to host SNL. So, but still, she did a good job. Counting Crows are back. What do you think about that? They released an album called Butter Miracle.
Oh, I bet it was great.
It's called Sweet One. Butter Miracle Sweet One, actually. They it actually got really good reviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Back to their old ways, I guess.
Yeah, or new ways of not being awful.
Yeah. That too.
So you know what I realized the other day? That Chrissy Teigen's been canceled.
Yes.
I guess she's an online bully.
A long time ago.
Yeah, but that's why she's been canceled.
Yes. She told
from her online bullying a long time ago.
Yeah, in like 2013, she tweeted at this girl who was like underage to kill herself.
Oh, I remember that. Because it was a famous person.
It was because she was married as an underage girl to some guy.
It was a famous person who is known for slitting her wrist.
Okay.
And she told her to go slit your wrist again.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
but it was because she was married to this pedophile,
Oh,
this Hollywood pedophile, and she divorced him and was like, I only married him because he groomed me, and then yeah, that's when that all started. But Chrissy Teigen, I mean, not to excuse her actions, because obviously we don't want other people to tell other people to kill themselves, but she wasn't the only one who was doing it either. But obviously, again, that doesn't excuse the actions. Two wrongs don't make a right.
that's
no matter
correct.
the scenario.
So what do you think of the Bills vaccine situation?
Oh, that's a really awesome segue into that one. If we are going to talk about it, I mean, are we going to?
Did you hear that the guy who played Sebastian on Little Mermaid, he died?
Oh, that's so sad.
I know, isn't it?
That was the
The crab
yeah,
or the lobster. He was a crab.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he had the
Yeah. So it's a sad day. He was 74.
that's old.
Yeah.
Enough.
I was about to say, yeah, he deserved to die.
Well, that's what I said. He was old enough.
He was
to
old
die.
enough. Also, the Tony-nominated actress who starred in Annie and Mornings at 7 has died at the age of 90. Her name is Lois DeBanzi. Yeah,
That's also a good age to die too.
Yeah. It was time.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like once I hit like the 70 to 80, I'm just gonna be like, just take me now.
Just take me now.
Because like I don't
Like,
want to
it's
deal
time.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to have to move in with your parents, definitely.
Well, not that, but like I don't want.
Well, I'm definitely moving in with my kids.
Do you have other kids that I don't know about?
I hope not. They would also kids that I don't know about. So
No, but you know what I mean? Like, unless I'm like healthy enough. Like, if I was like, I don't know.
there was some 107-year-old lady who just like walked a marathon.
Yeah, like if I could do that, I would be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
But like I don't want
but-
like anybody to wipe my butt for me. Or like I don't
But
want to
that's
have to
gonna
wear it,
happen.
but I don't want to wear a diaper.
but that's gonna happen.
I
That's just how it
understand.
goes.
That's why I like once I hit that age, like I'm just gonna be like, nah.
But that's how everyone goes.
I know.
There's very few people who just go in their sleep like Lois DeBanzi did.
Are we sure?
I have no idea. She just died at the age of 90.
Did Sebastian? Do we have any idea?
No clue. No clue. If you want that information, watch Entertainment Tonight or something. So John Cena called Taiwan a country. What do you think about that?
I don't think we should be turning to John Cena for our geography skills.
He apologized in Mandarin
That's kind of funny.
after making the mistake. He apologized to China. And I assume it's not China the wrestler.
For the Instagram. No, that's Black China.
The Black China. Yeah. So what do you think of the Bills pandemic situation?
Are you just gonna turn to that every single time you don't have anything else to turn to?
Maybe. Well, that's going well. So here's what happened. All the players. Oh man, there's a tornado at our house. Ah. Hello, my darling.
Hi.
Leslie went shopping for food. How dare she?
No.
So speaking of dead Broadway actors, the Bills pandemic situation
What?
No, I'm just saying there's a correlation.
Because death, or because of acting?
Hmm. Some of each, I guess. Right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
So, Tremaine Edmonds and Josh Allen both said the exact same words today. When talking about the pandemic, or I'm sorry, the vaccines, and basically saying we're going to keep it in house. And so, and then some other sources are trying to throw Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott kind of under the bus. Does it kind of seem that way to you? By saying we're trying to educate the players on what the vaccines are and why they're good for you, but they're not forcing any players to, get the shots.
They're also not coming at them from the angle that
you should get it.
You should get it. They're coming from the angle of
we're gonna educate you.
Yeah, the mental development, as they would probably say.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. That's literally what I was going to say. And then I was like, education is the word there. The word is education.
Not mental development. So, to wrap that up, nobody's wrong. Today is the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's death. We would like him to rest in peace and his family to live in peace. You have anything you want to say on that? Stanley was invited to the White House today. They had a chat with Joe Biden. And then they went back to Minneapolis and held services or something.
They held a
memorial service. Yeah. As we all know, George Floyd's death was a monumentous moment in the history of our country. It'll be something we all remember in our lives. And the Derek Chauvin trial will also be something we will never forget. And so it's something that I felt needed to be acknowledged at minimum today. And so we're doing that. So it's a little different than talking, about Clay DeBessie or whatever her name is, but it is a serious topic that needed it. Racial justice in America is still a monstrous problem. And while the death of George Floyd did create some momentum for a while, the George Floyd bill in Congress still hasn't been passed. And these are things that need to happen to get any kind of equality or justice in our country. If we really want to see our country get better, which we all should, and everyone has their opinion on what get better means, but get better to me means actual improvement. Find a place of zen, get happy, and just as get healthier. That these are things that are very important for us, and we have to find a way to stop splitting apart and find a way to heal again. And the best way to do that would be for Donald Trump to disappear. This is not a threat against Donald Trump in any way. So Secret Service do not come our way or anything like that. Because my understanding is he's charging you $40,000 per night to stay in his Mar-a-Lago hotel. So
trying to make back that money.
He is trying to make that money back. So Diana Taurasi is out for 4 weeks. How do you think that will affect her WNBA team that she's on?
It'll probably affect them because she's good at basketball.
She is really good. She's on Phoenix, right?
Sure, they'll be losing a good player.
one of the best. She's been an MVP
Yeah.
numerous times. So yeah, so for the next 4 months, her 4 weeks, 4 weeks,
Checks notes.
checks notes, 4 weeks, she'll be out, and team she plays for will be worse. Unless the Patrick Ewing theory comes through. Anyway, what did you think of, speaking of the WNBA, what did you think of Sabrina Ionescu's triple double in her first game?
I thought that was really impressive for her. Well, okay, I'm not saying it like that.
For her,
No, I mean she was good in college. She was one of the probably the premier players in women's college basketball.
well, she was the consensus number one
overall
pick.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, nights like that for her probably make a lot of sense. But I think it's impressive now to watch the WNBA grow as it's growing, and I think
I agree.
you also have to give a big compliment to the WNBA players because they really pushed hard for that recognition and are starting to get it from the NBA and people. I mean, the WNBA just signed this huge multi-million-dollar deal with like Reebok or something.
Nike.
And Nike, yeah. And now they are representing 8 WNBA athletes, and that's the first time a WNBA athlete has ever been represented by Nike.
Yeah.
So I mean, to have something like that happen, and really it comes on the heels of people like Deanna Rossi, Sue Bird,
The others.
yeah, Brittany Griner even from basically be unknowns, and then we see them.
Well, they're knowns in college, right?
They're
and now
college,
now what's kind of cool is
they're making the WNBA known because they were known in college.
Right. So it's a nice cycle to see women's basketball improve. It's gotten so much better since the WNBA started. And that's not a knock on anything other than the improvements made in any sport. Football is better than it was 25 years ago.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, there are always changes that come, and eventually, I mean, you're right. Before free agency, football was kind of boring, and then free agency comes along, and all of a sudden, you have players who you thought would finish their careers after being drafted by the same team now get to bounce around to 15, and it makes it more fun. And players get paid more, and that's what you're going to see in the WNBA.
You're definitely going to see that. I really like their new ad campaign. That's basically like, we're awesome. Now all you have to do is watch.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those during the NBA playoffs.
NBA playoffs. Yeah. So that's a good segue. You want to talk about the NBA playoffs?
Sure. Yeah.
So far, did you watch the pantsing that Milwaukee gave to the Heat yesterday?
I tuned in and then saw the score. We tuned in the beginning because now, guess what? I got Jackie into basketball.
All right.
So we've been watching a lot of basketball. And what started that was March Madness. So
fair enough.
But we started to watch it, and then Milwaukee just kept scoring, and like the Heat had no answer, and we were just like, I went, that's over. It was like the first quarter.
It was 46. It was 46-20 after one quarter.
Yeah.
The final score was a lot to a little. It was 132-90 something. So It doesn't sound like a lot, actually. I mean, that doesn't sound
the
like
Heat kind of stormed back a little bit, but like they did it a little bit.
They still won by 40.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. They won by 40.
Right, they won by 40.
So for the Heat to make any kind of run,
right. Yeah, no, they didn't. Really.
Was a bit much to say.
Yeah.
But they did win by 40. So it
is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, that's 40 is what college players score in a half, or college teams,
Right.
So,
but they only play halves. They don't play quarters.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm like, the gap was the same amount as
Gotcha.
college basketball game half.
I'm
like,
with you. I'm with you. So Wayne Gretzky, or
Yeah.
should we stick with NBA?
Well, why don't we finish out the NBA and then
Okay, so Philadelphia's up 1-0 on the Wizards. Do the Wizards have a chance?
I never want to trust Philly, and I also hate Philly, but I really don't think they did because I don't think they have any answer for Embiid because Westbrook and Beal can't play center. So
Right. So they have to outscore them.
And I don't think I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I don't know.
Yeah. Suns are up 1-0 on the Lakers. Do the Lakers have a chance?
I mean, absolutely. But I do think Phoenix. I don't think Phoenix takes this, and I think it just comes to playoff experience. I just think they're too young, and LeBron and AD are just gonna be LeBron and AD, and then are just, I think they're gonna win that series. The Lakers.
The Lakers. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I agree about the Suns. That
It's like
right now,
they're good.
Devin Booker's just not playoff season, right?
Yeah, they need this under their belts, and then they'll just be back next year.
Well, the only thing is they have Chris Paul, right? So,
but he's hurt. He got hurt in game 1. He hurt his neck or something, and I don't know what his status is for game 2. So
okay,
but he ran into his own player and got his neck hurt. So
huh?
But I mean, even though like Chris Paul isn't one of their stars, it's Ayton.
But he's
Booker.
Right.
No, I know, and he brings that playoff experience, so that's why they brought him in. But to me, when it comes to basketball, having like one player be playoff experience, and even though it is a guy like Chris Paul,
right,
to me isn't enough.
What do they have? PJ Tucker or something? I mean, they have a couple other players.
They have a couple other players, but it's not anybody to me where I could legitimately see them unless, I don't know, the Lakers completely collapse. I don't think the Phoenix just has anybody who will just be able to keep up with them because they don't have that experience. And playoff basketball to me is very, very different than regular season basketball.
Well, you can say the same thing about any sport except baseball, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, in baseball, it's like, it's not that
baseball,
the games are different. It's like the
that
situation. Well, that too.
Right?
But it's the situations. Because like a full count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th means with the score tied means a hell of a lot more in game 7 of a playoff series.
Game 47.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's just you're getting getting a different. Where I think in the other 3 sports, maybe hockey kind of goes in that, but like
in what?
In that category where like
I think hockey and basketball are the most different in the playoffs.
Okay, I think that too because I was saying like even football is like, but I don't think you could say that about both. Where you're saying, a game in the regular season doesn't matter as much as a game in the and that's not exactly what I'm saying, but like what I was trying to say about baseball. I don't know if you can say that about the 3 other sports. Where like people watch playoff baseball because they want to see that situation, that full count, bottom of the 9th, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Where like that what brings people in versus saying this is a baseball playoff game. I think what makes people watch playoff baseball is you're hoping beyond hope that you either get extra innings, a pitching duel, or a shootout. That leads to one of the situations that every.
I think in baseball we call it like a slugfest or something.
Okay.
A shootout sounds weird for baseball.
A home run fest. Slug. I'm good with slug. But I feel like when you're talking about basketball, I mean football, obviously every single game matters. You can't really let up
throughout the season.
Yeah.
I mean, one football game is the equation of 10 baseball games.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you think about it, right?
Or maybe
right
3
now,
basketball and 3 hockey games. Because
I mean, if you actually do the math,
yeah,
I'm correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were guesstimating.
No, no.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah.
And it's 5 in basketball and hockey.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 5, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
But I mean,
so-
that makes sense.
So, yeah, 16 times 5, you know? Good.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, it's 17 now, but yeah.
Well, close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
It's like a decimal.
Well, there's
now,
80,
still.
82 games, so
Yeah.
I was really counting 80. But you know, so like right now, the Tampa Bay Rays are an 11-game win streak.
Mhm.
That's one football win.
Right. But it also doesn't mean anything because it's May. Like
Okay,
if they were
so
on,
does
what
it-
if they were on an
does
11-game win streak in like September?
Okay, but hold on, because does a football game in September mean as much as a football game in December?
I would say yes, because
So where is the argument then for baseball? Because I get the argument. I get it. I get it. And you hear that argument a lot, that game 47 doesn't matter, you know, or whatever game, you know, I keep hitting on 47 and I'm sorry to the number 47, but like, you know, game whatever doesn't matter, but they all matter.
well, obviously, I mean, every game across every single sports matter because I mean you don't want to lose. But I mean when you're playing 162 games,
Right.
not everyone's going to matter. Like if you're playing a 3-game road trip against the Orioles,
Yeah.
aren't you kind of just chalking those up as W if you're like the Yankees or the Red Sox right now?
Well, I am if I'm the Rays.
Well, okay, but we'll continue with the Rays. We're on 11th game win streak. If you're the Rays, you're saying I'm sitting atop of the AL East on May 25th. I have a 3-game homestand against the Orioles. Aren't you going WWW as in pencil in your mind? Because I mean, obviously anything
No.
can happen.
I'm probably gonna say we'll probably take 2 of 3.
Okay, and that's still 2 of 3 though.
Right, but like that only gains you a game in the
Right.
in the standings.
So you're playing 3 games against the same team to gain 1 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, their games aren't as important until unless their games start to matter when, first of all, as long as you are not a 1 seed, that's when your games matter because I think their 1 seeds get buys too.
Do they? Yeah,
Because they do. Well, they do the wild card. They do the play-in wild card.
The play-in,
and then
right.
they do it, and then I'm pretty sure ones get a free pass, and then it goes. But
Stop hitting the mic.
sorry, but I don't know if that's the case. But I mean, regardless, if you're the number 1 seed, that means you're getting one of the teams that played in the playoff in the play-in game. So even if you don't get a break, you still do versus the team that you're going to play anyway. You know what I mean?
I think I do. I think I understand.
Well, it's like okay, it's like,
no. I think I understand what you're saying. So
yeah.
I think we're good.
So like when it comes to baseball, your games don't matter unless you're a lower seed fighting for a spot, and then that still doesn't matter until mid-September, maybe the whole month of September or mid.
Unless you're the A's,
because every
single year the A's start making the run in July and start winning every year.
Okay, they might start making their run in July, but the games don't matter to a regular person. Probably, I would bet until late August, September.
Oh, so you're talking regular person versus team/player.
Well, for a regular person,
I was talking more from a team perspective.
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Then yeah, I think it would be different for a team. I still think though, if you're in baseball, I would say July would be the right time where you start to get serious.
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, it's the same. It's what we talk about every single year with Michigan State.
Right.
They always seem to get hot right at the end.
Right.
Like the beginning games don't matter.
Yeah.
They could be the number 1 seed of the nation going in. They're bound to A, lose it, B, drop out of the top 25 and lose at least 3 games against teams they shouldn't win. But for whatever reason, when February rolls around, Michigan State goes on this wild win streak
and runs through the Big Ten tournament and ends up getting in the So back to basketball. Atlanta's up 1-0 on the Knicks. Mm-hmm. Who's going to take that?
I think what the Knicks are in the same situation as you are with Phoenix, another unexperienced team. But then again, Atlanta isn't very
I
experienced
disagree
either.
with that significantly. The Knicks have a lot of experience. I mean, Julius.
They have a lot of
Julius
experience, but they
Randle's
don't.
insane.
Yes, and I understand that, but to me, there's
Derrick
so
Rose.
much when it comes to it about playoff experience and
Yeah.
having guys with playoff experience. The Knicks don't really have a lot of guys who have that.
Well, doesn't Randall have a few rings when he played for the Lakers?
Mm-mm. I think he was out of there. I think he was out of there way before LeBron. I don't think he has anything because I think he ended up going to Dallas, New
No.
Orleans.
I was gonna say New Orleans. Yeah.
Nope. Let's see.
Yay for computers.
Because he signed with the Pelicans in 2018. So that was 3 years ago. He was on the Lakers. And the Lakers didn't win until last year. Yeah, he never won anything with them, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, so he has no rings.
The Lakers didn't win anything till last year.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Randall wasn't on a team when they won the ring.
I know.
So, I mean, yeah, Randall is good, and Randall is the most improved player, and it makes
No,
sense
he'll
because
probably be MVP. Well,
no, he was just voted. I'm telling you,
MIP.
but yeah, but I mean, yeah, he's averaging 24.1 points per game. I mean, obviously, I mean that's the best he's ever done in his career by 2 point.
Yeah, but his assists,
7
his
points.
rebounds. I mean,
Oh yeah, he has
his
6
field
assists
goal
a game,
percentage.
10.2
Right.
rebounds per game. His field goal percentage is 4.56, and he's averaging 37.6 a night. Minutes a night.
Not 37 points.
No, he's
Okay.
averaging 24.1.
Because 37.
He's averaging
would-
almost a steal a game. He's at 0.9.
Yeah,
That's
that's a steal.
That's impressive.
He played out of his mind the entire season.
Yeah, and he deservingly should be in the MVP conversation, and he should win Most Improved Player. I just don't think. I mean, Atlanta is young and inexperienced as well, but they've at least been around the block.
With who?
No, I'm not saying with who. They were last year, weren't they?
I don't think so. It was Trae Young's first year that he got hurt. They tanked.
Okay. So maybe the Knicks do take that one, but I don't know. I mean, I think that one's a
Trae Young
toss-up.
smoked them in the first game.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
He
But
just destroyed them
But it still took a last-second shot
from Trae Young.
from Trae Young for
I
the
know.
Knicks to beat them, for Atlanta to beat the Knicks.
Yeah.
So
So it'll be a slugfest.
that one will go the distance.
There we go.
Yeah, that one's a toss-up for me, but I think
Or maybe a shootout.
Yeah,
Will it be a shootout or a slugfest?
it'll be a slugfest to get to. It'll be a slugfest to get it to go to the distance to Game 7, and then in Game 7 it'll be a shootout, and I think the Knicks take it. There I go. I used every single word in the sentence.
How could you not use every word in a sentence?
I used every single. Okay, no, what? I'm done. Move on.
Memphis and the Jazz. Memphis is up 1-0. Jazz did not play Donovan Mitchell in game 1, but he is supposed to be ready.
Yeah. The Jazz have been just consistently good this year.
Yep.
They started off wicked hot and then cooled off, but it's not like they were bad. They were still winning. They just weren't going on. They weren't winning by 40 and going on these long winning streaks. So I mean, as much as I want to think that Memphis can do it with John Morant, I don't think they will. I don't think they have the pieces there.
Jonas Valanciunas is amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean,
fifth in the league in offensive rebounding.
Yeah, I'm saying they have good players. They just don't have the depth, honestly. I don't think they have the bench depth to beat the Jazz.
That's
I mean,
fair.
if you're going to play Donovan Mitchell 40 minutes a night, are you really going to expect, I don't know, John Morant to match up with him all those 40?
Probably.
And I don't think that gets you the win. I think if that's the case, you're asking, if that's what you're asking, then I don't think so.
Dallas up 1-0 on the Clippers.
That is surprising, but Luka Doncic came to play in game 1.
He comes to play every night.
No, I know he does. I'm just saying that them winning was surprising because I did expect the Lakers to come, or the Clippers to come out a little bit better than they did, but they didn't look right.
They haven't been right all year.
And yeah, that's very true. And I mean, do you think if they lose again, do you think they blow it up?
Yeah,
Do you think though that a deep?
I think playoff Paul would be out the door.
I think so too. I mean, he's just not good. In like, I don't know, he's just not good anymore. That injury has been a detriment to him, and it's sad because he was so good before he broke his leg. And then
but still, he wasn't that good.
Well, he was good enough.
He's always been overrated in my book.
But he's better than he was now in my book. So, I mean, but do you think a deep run saves them even if they don't win the
I
championship?
think it saves Ty Lue, maybe.
I think Ty Lue's safe just because Kawhi asked him to be there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
The Nets are up 1-0 on the Celtics, despite 50 from Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Too much?
Yeah. They're gonna the Celtics, I think, are gonna put up a fight, and it's gonna be because of Tatum and Smart and Walker. But without Jaylen Brown, I mean, that team just runs through Tatum.
Right.
And when he's not on the court, they just don't get it together. And I watched that whole.
Well, they
thing.
have a
They have great depth, and they should be playing better, and they should not be the seed that they are. And they should be better.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Because they run through Tatum when Tatum's on the floor, but it's almost like they have a first squad and a second squad.
Yes.
Right, because of their depth. And I think they run through Smart on the second squad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So but I think you're right. Without Brown to be able to rotate in and have those sort of top tier guys be able to play a little more on the second squad, you get in a little tough spot. But
it's because now you're expecting Evan Fournier or Smart,
who's been a nice pickup,
been a nice pickup, but he should be on the second squad behind Brown, because you're asking those guys to be the athletic, quick guy who gets open, and they're not those guys. Well, they're not that.
Fournier is pretty.
He's athletic, but I'm saying like Jaylen Brown just always seems to be in the right spot at the right time.
Freakishly athletic.
I know he's freakishly athletic, but you're still asking guys to fill a freakishly athletic role with maybe half of the athleticism, but you're also asking guys who don't play the same way to play a different way. And I don't think they have another Jaylen Brown on the team. They don't. And that's what's going to be the detriment to them, is even though Walker's on the floor, Walker still has to go and be the point guard for them. So he can't be running around and doing all this stuff trying to get open when he has to still kind of be there to set it up. He can maybe on a play.
Well, the Celtics do a great job with the pick and roll.
They do, and Jaylen Brown is so good at that.
But that's really Walker's game, is the pick and roll. So I mean, that's where he makes his money, is dish it inside, dish it back out, Walker, and then shot.
I think just losing Jaylen Brown, you don't have enough options to keep up.
Well, he's also their best defensive player too.
Mm-hmm.
Him or Smart.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think he's probably as good as Smart.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
they're different kinds of defenders, right?
Yeah.
Smart is your tougher defender.
Smart.
Brown is your fast.
Yeah.
Wing defender.
Yeah. Brown will steal the ball from you before you can blink, and Smart will just force the ball out of your hands.
Right. He won't let you drive.
Right.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So
he would rather punch you in the face than watch you score points.
Yeah.
And Brown would rather just be like, thanks. No, I mean Brown is excellent defending. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, his length helps with that too, and that's another thing you're losing. You're losing one of your best defenders. And yes, you still have Smart, and I'm not saying that everybody else in the Celtics sucks at defense, but when you lose somebody like that, it just sucks so bad. Oh,
Yeah, he's one of their glue guys more than like one of their superstars,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
he's like a higher end glue guy.
Yeah.
Like
he's a star glue guy.
yeah. So there's that. Because I was gonna say something. Oh, Jordan Clarkson won 6 man.
Yeah.
I saw that it was down between him and his teammate.
Yes. Yeah, the Lakers. He's on the Lakers, right?
No.
Where is he?
He was on the Lakers in like a video game you have. Or the version of NBA 2K. He was with Utah, right? Or Denver, one of the two.
Jazz.
The Denver Jazz?
The Denver Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was him or yeah, yay for computers.
It was him or
Utah
the
Jazz
other
roster.
guy on the roster that was up for Bogdanovich.
No.
Connolly.
No.
Favors.
Let me tell you in a second.
Ingles.
Yeah, Ingles.
Ingles. Yeah.
Ingles. No, it's Ingles.
Okay.
It's Ingles. Yeah, it was between the two of them. I thought that was kind of cool. So I think Ingles wins 7th man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan Clarkson is the first Utah Jazz player to win the award.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, and I mean it's good. I mean, he's good.
He's a nice scorer, and a good guy to put in when you need a guy off the bench. Like
Yeah, he averaged a career high
18.4
points.
Yeah, I knew he was in the 18th. So
4 ribbies, 2.5 assists.
Ribbies.
So
ribbies are baseball.
Ribbies for rebound. Ribbies.
Ribbies.
That sounds like a slur.
They call them
That
boards.
makes me uncomfortable.
They call them boards.
That's fine. 2.5 boards.
What did I teach you in my life? So in hockey, Pittsburgh is up to the Islanders by being down by 1. 2 games to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Islanders won last night.
Mm-hmm.
The refs decided to put away the whistles.
They're doing that a lot. I've noticed.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
It is. Because some of them are like really bad and they're just like, what? I didn't see it.
There was an article on The Athletic today about Connor McDavid not getting it was about McDavid getting 0 calls during the Winnipeg series,
which is wild.
It's
because
insane.
there's 0 shot. There were no penalties committed against him.
Yeah, they said he watched it with 2 former referees later, and they counted like 30 throughout, like 30 times that a penalty could have been called against McDavid, and he got none.
Yeah.
That's the one major problem with playoff hockey is the refs putting their whistles away.
Yes. And yes, I mean, you know, there are certain times where you are supposed to put it away. I mean, we see that in all sports, period. But
we see it in football, right? We see it in football,
baseball.
Well,
baseball actually, no, we do, because sometimes they're like, what could have been a strike in inning 1 might not be a strike now.
But that's any time in baseball. Like,
but that's still the ref changing. I know it's called an umpire. I'm just
thank you. But that's any time in baseball. Like that's not specific to the playoffs. Like in football in the playoffs, right? Pass interference is much more allowed.
Yeah.
Agree?
So yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Roughing the quarterback
is
called even more.
Yes. and like offsides. I feel like I don't know if that's
like
true.
the biggest thing that I see specifically in football
is roughing the
is
passer. Yes.
pass interference.
Oh, in the regular season?
In the regular season, pass interference is called way more often than
Yes.
it is in playoff.
Yeah, I thought you were
in the
saying in the
playoffs.
playoffs what you saw the most, and I was saying, yeah, roughing the passer. I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
I feel like that. I agree. I feel like that's also called more.
Yeah.
Like yeah, they they flip it.
Yeah.
Because they want to see it. It makes for good TV.
Right.
But I mean, at a certain point though, you can't let that happen, and I don't know how you do that unless you put computers there. But
so the NBA, I think, does it more right than the NHL does, and both have a problem with refereeing. Okay, but the NBA's problem with refereeing is that it caters so much to its stars. Okay, but the problem, it's not a problem. What's the way to explain it? To me, it allows them to spotlight their stars, right? By giving those stars and putting those stars on the lines, it allows people to go, oh, now I know who Jason Tatum is. Now I know who Donovan Mitchell is, right? Now I know who Julius Randle, whoever. And so it allows them to do that, even if it's not always fair, because what's a foul against LeBron? Well, that's a bad comparison because they never call fouls against LeBron, but like, you know what I mean? Like they would call a ticky-tack foul for Tatum, but maybe not for Bogdan Bogdanovic, like you were saying before, right?
Yeah.
So if the same play happened, but the NHL is the other way to me, where their refereeing evens out the ability for offensive players to be able to really show their skills, and so it levels out the amount of play because they're not calling all this clutching and grabbing.
That's true, because I mean that's preventing offense from happening,
right?
But I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can. I don't think you should be, and I'm not going to say this correctly, and this isn't the way it should be said, but you shouldn't be allowed as an NHL ref. I feel like as an NHL ref, especially, to be able to swallow your whistle as much as they're swallowing their whistle.
Well, and the other thing that they do is they say, well, I gave that team 4 power plays, so I need to make up.
Yeah, which, we figured that out last year with that one ref who got fired or whatever, and that has been a thing. I mean, it's just now been confirmed 100% with video proof. But like that has always been a thing, and it's stupid though. It's dumb.
It's always been there. I mean, before either of us were born, it's been there.
Yeah, I mean, a penalty is a penalty is a penalty, and there's really no other way to say it.
I wish they would just follow the rule book. I mean, it's pretty much that simple.
You don't have to call every single one, but I mean, I don't remember what we were watching. Oh, it was basketball, but yeah, still. Anyway, we're still talking about both sports swallowing their whistles. But in basketball, in the Celtics game, or in the Lakers game, Caruso and somebody on Phoenix, started, or it might have been in the Celtics game, whatever. 2 players got interlocked, and they literally had their arms interlocked, and were going back and forth. Oh, it was Tatum and Durant. And Durant was, shoving him, doing all this stuff, never got a foul. Guess who got the foul? Tatum. And it was an after-the-fact foul on something completely unrelated. So they completely missed that on a jump-in ball, even though there were 2 refs standing right there. You know what I mean?
I do.
There are certain points, though, where, even in hockey, where we were watching something, and to bring it back to hockey, there was constant grabbing. They're just smacking each other with their sticks, and I get it. You want to let that happen, and you want to be able to do that. But, you're saying though, that will equate the offense, but like that's how you bring people in to watch hockey. You
By
don't
having-
bring them in to watch hockey to watch it be a defensive 1-0 battle.
No, I agree. And what you don't want is I guess you don't want your fourth liners to have as much of an impact in the game as your first liners can.
Yeah,
And that's what swallowing the whistle does.
right. Because if you're letting a guy like Kyle Okposo
Mhm.
just hold on to McDavid all series
Right.
instead of letting him score, then obviously that's going to change the course of the series. And
Mhm.
that's what Winnipeg did. And they
is.
never got called on it, and that's why they won.
Yeah.
I mean, they smacked around.
swept.
Yeah,
They-
they,
I
they
mean, they
swept the
swept
Oilers because
the
all they did
Oilers.
the entire series was smack around McDavid and Drysdale, and it was never called. Rarely ever. Like you just said, McDavid got no calls.
It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, and that's these are how these teams are winning.
And what I was with the Islanders and the Bruins last night, the last 2 minutes of the third period I was watching, and I think there were probably 5 or 6 penalties that could have been called between the two teams,
Right.
and I'm like, just call one.
Call one. Just
or-
one.
Or call dual penalties even, because
Yeah.
there were so many that were happening, and I'm like,
It doesn't make sense why first of all, why you have a rule book in place and you're not going to use it.
right.
It doesn't make if that's the case, then why do you are sitting down and drafting this like why are you going to owners meetings and looking at different rule changes you can make to
Right.
bring people in? This doesn't bring people in, because all this does is this hurts your offensively gifted players, because you're not giving them the chance to, like you literally just said about basketball, how basketball gives that ability to let the casual fan be like, that's Jason Tatum. I know
Right.
who that is. That's Devin Booker. I
Right.
know who that is,
Right.
past knowing, oh, he's the guy who scored 50 points in
Right.
the game. That doesn't let the casual go, that's Connor McDavid. Holy crap.
The
look
way
at
the
that goal.
NHL works, and that's
the way the NHL playoffs work. Yeah.
and that's why I think it's a way bigger issue than the way the NBA does their refereeing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too, and I think that every single league should do this, is the 2-minute report that the NBA does,
Mhm.
where they go, this is what we missed and we're taking ownership for it. I think every single sport should have one of
The
those.
NFL does that.
Really?
Yeah, not a 2-minute thing. They do the full game.
Okay. Well, I still think that the rest should come around to that, especially hockey.
Yeah,
Because I think now I think you're eventually going to see that coming, because now with that referee who got fired, now with these playoffs, and it's been a growing thing
yeah,
for a couple of years, this consensus in the NHL that this is what the refs do. They swallow, they like to be ticky-tacky, they like to make it even, they like to make sure that, okay, I just gave a penalty to the Oilers, so now I'm going to call a random one on Winnipeg.
Yep.
Like,
right. A phantom penalty.
a phantom
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah.
Phantom penalty should not be a thing
Right.
anywhere.
I'm with you.
It's the most ridiculous thing. It ruins the game. And I sound like a purist here, but in all honesty, if you have a referee who thinks this way, and this can be in any sport, I bet it happens in football. I bet it happens in every sport.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
I bet an umpire sits there and goes, well, I called that a strike for them, but that one's a little bit out of the box, but it's close enough to where the other one was, so I'll
Right.
call it a
So I'll
strike
call
for
it
them
a strike.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. In football, well, I called a holding penalty on them, so let me get some
Right.
offsides penalty or some
Yep.
false start
Yep.
on them. Like, in that kind of stuff shouldn't happen, because you should be refereeing the way you're supposed to, the way you're taught. I mean, these guys have to start at a lower level. Like, it's not like these guys are signed off the street. These guys have been doing this at different levels with basically almost nearly identical rules for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke.
Right.
You're making the sport a joke because you yourself want to control the outcome instead of letting the players on the ice, on the field, on the pitch, whatever, play. you're not giving that opportunity to let your stars be the stars. I did not see one clip of, and I wasn't really paying that hard of attention, but at least I see one
Oh, there was the
of
one I showed.
McDavid.
Yeah, that was McDavid that
Was
I
that in
showed
the
you.
playoffs?
Yeah, that was last night.
Oh, okay. Well, before last night, when you showed me that one, I had yet to see one from him.
Yeah,
And that is a rare occurrence because the NHL likes to post 5 McDavid things a day.
right. I agree. So
Rant over.
Boston 4, Washington 1.
Not
Washington.
Washington. All right.
They Boston beats the Dano Chara.
Yeah. Yeah. That had to be a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a
Shaking
moment,
hands,
honestly.
You know, like with Chara on the other side.
Yeah, I think I saw
Gotta
a
be a
picture.
little weird.
I saw a picture of him and Krejci. They
Mhm.
like had a hug and talked to each other for like 5 minutes.
Well, I can imagine.
After
Yeah.
the series was over. So I thought that was kind of cool. You know,
That is cool.
two
Yeah.
captains.
Tampa Bay's up on Florida 3-2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tampa's going to win that series. Again, you know, this is what we were talking about in basketball. Florida's young, they're inexperienced. They have really good players, and they
Mhm.
really held their own with Tampa.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised they didn't get swept, but I don't see them winning, even if it goes to 7.
Don't forget about Tampa getting
Right, and they got Kucherov.
But that's not even what I'm saying. Don't forget about Tampa and Columbus 2 years ago, though.
That is very true. But I still think that them getting Kucherov back, you know, when they did,
Because the salary cap doesn't exist.
Yep. I think them just getting Kucherov, and it's just Tampa knows what they're doing at this point. I mean, they won the cup last year. I mean, they're just going through the motions. Yes, Florida won 2 on them, but it wasn't because Tampa played a good game. It's because it's because Florida played the 2 best games they have played all year.
Mhm.
And they were just on it. And Tampa had
They
no
played
answer.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know,
Well, it's not like Florida has bad players.
I'm not saying Florida has bad players. It's just that they're inexperienced. And I mean, Tampa's been to the playoffs a gazillion times. They just won the cup last year.
Well,
So,
you know,
I mean, I'm not.
Florida
gonna say,
did pick up Brandon Montour, and I think he's been the driving force.
one of the NBCs during the game. One of the NBC, I don't know who it was, but one of the color guys ripped him apart.
Colored guys?
One of the color analysts.
Are you racist?
Oh my God. Ripped him apart because the puck was just sitting there in front of the net.
Mhm.
And he grabbed it and just started going.
Oh.
He didn't pass it. He didn't wait to see if there was a change. He just went. And the guy was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "That's not your job."
Yeah.
He's like, "You didn't check to see if there was a change."
You gotta stay back. You gotta look up. You gotta
Right. He's
yeah.
like, "You just took the puck and went." He's
Right.
like, "You're not a forward. You're a defenseman.
Yeah.
Play your position."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's his Buffalo coming out
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
gotta make a play.
Yeah. That's his Kruger.
Yeah.
Krugerfied. He was Krugerfied. So Toronto's up 2-1 on Montreal. Does Montreal have a chance?
No.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Colorado swept St. Louis. Goodbye.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bye.
Colorado is so fast.
They're so good.
They're so fast.
Cal
They're
McCarr.
so good.
Cal McCarr is so fun to watch.
I don't know how they don't win the cup.
Colorado?
Yeah.
They play Tampa Bay.
Um,
Colorado Tampa Bay would be a fun final.
yeah. I agree. I think also Colorado and Carolina, Toronto, and the Islanders would also be really fun.
The Islanders.
The Islanders would be fun because it would be interesting. I want to see how they would respond
if their defense can
Colorado.
shut down Colorado.
If their stellar, amazing,
Heralded.
crunching defense could
Yeah.
stop the onslaught.
Adam Pelech has been playing out of his mind.
No, I wasn't making fun of the Islanders' defense at all. I was
No.
saying their defense is probably one of the best. in the
Well,
league.
I mean, that's what Barry Trotz does, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he just makes defensive juggernauts.
he turns your team into disciplined defensive,
Right.
Everything.
It's the Herb Brooks mentality.
Again.
Right. That's what I was just thinking of.
Vegas 3, Minnesota 2. Minnesota have a chance?
I think they do if they catch Vegas sleeping, which is what they did in those 2 games, in my opinion. Was that like Vegas kind of came out and wasn't really with it, and Minnesota pounced on the opportunity. But if
well, here's
my 3-2 though, and having to win 2,
yeah,
I don't see them winning 2 in a row against Vegas. I
think I think you're right. I think Vegas is probably going to move on. I think Minnesota's young and has a brilliant future ahead of them.
But give it like 3 years and they'll be
or
a
less,
powerhouse.
or less. They're so close to being there, and their farm system is so deep.
It's loaded. Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many players who they could trade for. Jack Eichel.
I was just about to say that.
I
You guys
know.
want Jack Eichel?
Eichel
Jack Eichel?
passing to Krill to throw.
Or maybe Dylan Cousins will be passing to Krill to throw.
I don't think Dylan Cousins is going anywhere.
No, I'm saying Krill's gonna come here.
I don't think Krill is going anywhere either. What I was going to say was, here's the 2 times that they caught Vegas sleeping. Game 1, and when Vegas was up 3-1.
Yep.
Right. So they truly caught them sleeping.
Right. It's like the 2 games where they would be.
Where you would be.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And the last game is Carolina 2, Predators 2.
That series, I'm impressed with Nashville.
Yeah, they've been surprising.
They look good, though, kind of. But, like, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah.
I just don't trust Saros.
Yeah.
I trust their offense to get it done. Like, let's say if it came down to that, like they needed a goal, whatever. But I don't trust every other part of their team as much as I trust Carolina, in my opinion.
Ryan Johansson's been playing out of his mind.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Their forwards, I trust, and I trust Ryan Ellis.
Yeah.
And
Ekholm.
that's and Ekholm, and then that's where my list ends.
Yossi.
Is he still on their team?
Yeah.
Wait, that guy's old. Those 3 guys are old. Wow.
I bet Yossi isn't older than 31. I bet he's younger than 31.
He's 30. Okay. Well.
How about that? Younger than 31.
But he's been 13 years. Been in the league, so that's kind of old for the league. But I don't know. I just don't.
You think 30 is old?
Being 13 years in the league, that's old.
He wasn't in the league when he was 17. So
he was drafted in 2008.
Oh, but that doesn't put him in the league automatically.
Oh, well, yeah, true.
I mean, guys take 5 years to get to the league.
Let's see. He was drafted. Oh, he was drafted by Nashville.
Yeah. That I knew.
No, he started right at
No, he started in 2011.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see the date. Yeah. Okay. So he hasn't had as long a career as I thought he had. Is it just because he looks old? Maybe it's because he's named Roman.
Roman. That's probably it.
That's honestly might be it. It's because his name's
goatee's
Roman.
Making a comeback. I see he has a goatee, and it's really bothering me because I'm starting to know, and I want you to start paying attention, like on TV, and around. Now that we can actually go around
and see people's faces,
underneath their mask. I mean, we can see it because people aren't wearing their masks and stuff.
Yeah. Vaccinated or not.
Yeah. But I seriously think goatees are making a comeback, and it's awesome. And I had a goatee when I was like your age.
Goatees are for people who can't grow beards.
Well,
or for people that like them.
Yes and no.
Which is weird.
There are some people, there are some guys who probably look way better with a goatee.
And with a beard, and that's fine. And that's what I'm saying. Those are the people who like them.
Like if I had my wallet and showed you my license, it has me and a goatee in it because my license is that old. It's probably like 10 years old. I had hair too.
Hey, you had a goatee the same time that Roman Yossi was a rookie. Really bringing it full circle.
Full circle. Yes. So
our goatees making a comeback.
Our
I don't know. I have to look.
Yeah, that's gonna be-
that's my homework for next time.
That's your homework for next time.
I will pay more attention.
So we've gone through basketball. We've gone through hockey. In Team USA news, Saber, who was never a Saber, Cal Peterson, shut out the home country of Borat, Kazakhstan, at the Worlds 3-0.
My wife. And Saber, who was a Saber, Tage Thompson, did not play.
Did not play. He was a healthy scratch.
Shocker.
Tage Thompson. You know he has a brother?
Is his brother any better?
I don't think so.
Makes sense for that family then. Is his brother also tall and doesn't know how to shoot besides into the chest of the goalie?
Okay, here's the thing though. Tage got much better.
He did. Yes.
Tage and Middlestat,
Yes.
when they played together, they were a very good combination.
Yes. I think Tage though has to have a 60-point season for me to even remotely stop hating
A 60-point season.
or 50 when they trade Reinhardt. If they trade Reinhardt, he needs to come in and replace Reinhardt's for production for me to not hate him. There we go.
Wow.
How about that? Go in and replace Reinhardt's production, and I will stop hating you.
That's saying a lot.
Yep. He's cocky enough to think he can do it.
Is he?
Yeah. I would say
I never pay attention to it.
There's always a story. This was the first year where there wasn't a story where it was Tage came into camp not in shape, or Tage came into camp thinking he earned a spot, or Tage came into camp thinking he had a spot and then got sent down to Rochester and then drank for 3 nights straight and didn't go to practice and partied, and then they sat him down.
I think it just takes time for some players to get their head on straight, right?
Well,
when you're traded for Ryan O'Reilly,
you earn trust. You do not deserve it.
Ooh, deep. When you're traded for Ryan
today,
when you're traded for Ryan O'Reilly, don't you think that you might have somewhat of a, when you're the big young chip, right?
Right.
In the O'Reilly trade,
sure, you can have some confidence and some cockiness,
sense of entitlement. Even.
Yes, and you can have that, sure. But you don't get to have it for 4 years when 3 of those years you were sent down to Rochester because you came into camp not good. You can have that for a year.
So anyway, here's a weird one for you. Okay, so your homework, I'm going to write it on your hand.
You can just text it to me later.
All right, because I don't have my phone on me. It's in my pocket.
Well, why don't you write it down in there? Oh, it's in your pocket. Well, there you go. Figure out people are wearing goatees more.
Noah, pay attention to goatees.
I think my boss has a goatee.
See?
The Nets are up on the Celtics 71-47. And that's what I'm talking about. Kemba Walker is leading the team with 13 points. So I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, did you hear about the Greg Olson thing?
No, what?
So his son has a fake heart. Yeah, the fake heart's dying.
That sucks.
Yeah, so they need a transplant or
like a real heart.
Yeah, or he's gonna die.
Okay, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
Greg Olson's child.
You know, Greg Olson also has 5 kids. It's not Philip Rivers numbers, but
yeah, that's what I'm always gonna say. There are no Philip Rivers.
How many kids is too many kids?
How many?
Take out Philip Rivers. Take Philip Rivers out of your mind. Because
okay.
Obviously to me,
it depends when you
9
have
kids is way too much.
Okay, but it depends. Okay, I think it depends on your location. Okay. Here's the things that I'm thinking it depends on. Okay, it depends on your location, your relationship status. Because if you're a father who has kids with who has 4 kids with
That's true.
4 different women, that's too many.
True.
Right.
But if you're having 9 with one person because of your faith,
right,
is that too many?
That's what I'm asking you. I mean, you say 9 is too many. So
I mean, I think 9, regardless of situation, is too many. I feel like 6 is my limit.
6.
But
Are you
I
saying
but,
that
but
to be nice to Leslie, or
oh no. No. I mean like okay, taking out what you said, like if it was just like a straight like I don't know, straight like I don't know. Just a straight question, I guess. Like if we're not going to use a what if, I feel like 6, I would be like, okay, once we hit like 5, like if I really, I don't know, I feel for me, 3 is enough. Where I would be like, yeah, nope, it's 5. I wouldn't want 4 though because it would be too but I wouldn't want 4 because that's too many.
even amount?
I know it's an even amount and it could be 2 and 2, but like I feel like though like having 3 would allow like as long as they're not twins and you spaced it out right,
3.
you could have them either all be friends or at least 2 of them be friends,
Oh,
and then you
see,
could
and
keep,
that's screwed up.
but you could keep the youngest child for yourself because they'll be around the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like
For
if that's the way it
yourself.
worked. Not for yourself, but like the youngest child will probably
Get youngest child syndrome. Then
Yes.
the middle child and the older child will have middle child and oldest child syndrome.
I don't know. I just feel like
That's the problem with 3 that I have is like I truly believe like oldest, middle, youngest child is a real thing. And the middle
yeah.
child often gets lost, right?
Yeah, and I feel like
with-
it is
with
too, but you
4
also have to have like the right parents.
with
I think,
4, I think it's a different situation.
Well, right, because you
Because
could
then you
have
have
2 and 2.
2 middle kids,
Right.
right? And then that kind of thing.
And I feel like also when the more kids you have, your older kids are going to be more set for life. Because like I mean, obviously you're not going to actually forget about them, but in the grand scheme of worrying about children, the eldest children are obviously going to be cared for less the longer it gets, the older they get.
Well,
So
okay,
like I'm not going to have to care about like I'm obviously still going to care about my 16-year-old child, but I'm not going to care about my 16-year-old child and worry about them maybe in the same way I would about my 6-year-old.
well,
Like I'm not going to be thinking of the same thing, or maybe even a 10-year-old.
I don't parent you like you're 6
You don't. I mean, you don't even parent me like I'm a teenager. I mean,
because you're not.
Right.
Right.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is like, I think the more kids you have, it sets up the older kids for life because the parents are going to have to then worry more about the younger kids because you're going to have to do more of the things for them that the older kids already know how to do. So like you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to still make the family dinner, but maybe on a night where I don't know.
Wow, you got this all planned out.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about it.
Oh boy.
No, I mean,
Should
I
I
haven't
start
been
preparing?
thinking about it.
Should I? Okay.
No, I'm just saying. I've just been like, because I'm thinking about what you were saying, where like the 3 doesn't make sense. But like me personally, I would want to do a 3 because I feel like I would be able to be a good enough parent where my kids wouldn't develop that, where I would, but
it's a natural thing that happens.
and I know, and that's the tough part about it. But like, I feel like just 4 is just too many. Like for the longest time for me, it was 2.
Leslie's the 4th,
Okay.
4 or 6.
I mean, if you want to have that many kids.
No, I'm just saying. She doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's fine with it. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to have that many kids, right? I'm not saying don't, because this isn't like, I don't know, communist China or something. But like, I feel like at a certain.
Listening to Daniel Tosh. Okay, go ahead.
Oh boy. I just feel like though, but like when you hit, but I do feel like there is a limit. But maybe that's what you were saying. It's just
about situation.
It's about the situation, and you can't answer that question unless you're in the situation. Because I'm sitting here going right now, 3.
Mhm.
But like I don't know if Jackie got pregnant with like quintuplets, I wouldn't be like,
kill them so there's only 3.
Jesus.
Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it would be like, okay, well, now we have to make quintuplets
5.
work.
Right.
Right. Like, we have to make 5 work.
Right.
You know, I want to be like, okay, we're going to abort.
Well,
2
you
of
know what?
them.
Yeah. We can stop talking about abortion and those kind of things because that's not the show.
No, I
So,
know, but
but I get your point. But what you could do is get a reality TV show.
that's very true. That's true.
If you were having quintuplets
Keeping
or
up with the
or
curve.
sextuplets
True.
or yeah,
That's true.
yeah, you would have to if you were doing keeping up with because the Kardashians are going off the
They're
air.
going off the air, right? And
Right.
they were a family of 5.
Right.
So
Were they? Oh, because
The-
Bruce is right, not Bruce anymore.
no, I meant there's 5 sisters. It's Kim, Chloe, Courtney, Kylie, and Kendall. Isn't that it?
Yeah,
So
we just talked about the Kardashians on air.
so like, yeah, if Jackie got pregnant with quintuplets,
Right.
hey,
You'll have
not
a
E?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but you can go on any channel.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, I mean, you could be on like the World War II channel, and they would take you because your grandfather fought in World War II, right? So
I was watching a YouTube video the other day about like Bravo shows and how now every single one of their like own shows is a terrible reality show.
Yeah.
No, it's like they don't even have like anything else. It's just they're the reality TV channel. Like
Interesting.
and they're all awful.
Oh, sure.
Like they're all terrible.
Well, there's
and
so
not
much.
good.
Too late. Thanks, though.
that definitely he's not wrong though. That definitely does deserve a mute. But
No, that's not a banned word, though. COVID might be.
it's turning into one maybe.
It's starting to become. It's getting into that slide of becoming a banned word.
All right.
COVID, vaccine. We may just take that out of our dictionary. So, all right. So here's a weird one for you.
Do you know that also almost every single Bills player except like 10 showed up today too?
Yeah.
And you know, I think
And Aaron Rodgers was one of them who didn't show.
yeah, but Devontae Adams also didn't show up.
All 5 of his starting wide receivers didn't show.
Yeah. So
I think
that
thought
tells
that
you
was
about
interesting.
where the Green Bay situation is.
And Jordan Love and what they think of Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
no, that's
Anyway.
okay. Hey, I was the one who brought up Aaron Rodgers. So, do you think they should trade Rodgers for Watson? I don't know if he has a no trade clause or whatever, but
For Watson, no.
well, we know now Watson's going to play in 2021, right?
Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, it's not like his
Where is-
contract
where
ends in
is-
2021.
I know, but where is the safest place? Like, if you could say, send Deshaun Watson to the city.
Miami. No, I'm just
No, right. Where is the safest city you could send a player where they won't get in trouble?
Minnesota. I think Minnesota would be an easier choice. What? No? A lot of strip clubs and massage parlors in Minnesota?
Tons.
Seriously?
I have no idea, but it is a huge music city. There are a lot of clubs.
That's true.
Like at least music clubs.
But
Massage
Green Bay has a
parlors.
lot of bars.
Green Bay has a lot of cheese. And you know,
Sometimes I really think you're about to say a good point, and then you say that. And I'm like, why did I like?
because Wisconsin has a lot of cheese, and you know how I know that?
What?
Okay, so the Milwaukee Brewers hat came out today.
Oh God, we're talking about these things.
We are talking about these things.
Oh.
Baseball, new era, released hats today.
They already pulled them off.
And they already pulled them off their website because they were so bad. They called them like area hats or something. What were they called?
Area code hats.
No, well, that's what we were calling them, but they actually had a
Zip
name for them,
code?
like
I'll find out. Hold on.
region hats or something like that.
Okay, that doesn't work.
Yeah, they're 5950s or whatever, or whatever. But
Icon, maybe.
no, they
Hold
were
on, let
like
me see what this one is because this looks at
They were
MLB
like,
World Series.
that's not
That's
it.
not it either.
It's
It doesn't
actually
say.
a cool hat, but
It is, yeah.
it's this one.
Oh,
No, that one too. That was right.
hit an ad. God.
Local
market.
Local market. So
And they left Kansas City's area code for the
Off their
Kansas City Royals off of the hat.
find Pittsburgh's.
My God.
Pittsburgh has no area codes on it. It's hilarious. All it has is the P, like for the they're not going to show it anymore.
No, they're not.
They
wait,
already-
wait. Cubs, White Sox, MLB, local market hats
Roasted on Twitter. Pictures have to be out there.
Yeah.
But just go to images and look at it that way. So
I was just gonna go to Twitter. Anything here?
no, it's not it. I don't see it there. But all it had is the P. It had the P, the yellow P, and then it has a steel bar coming up on the left side of it, and there's just like a steel bar, and then on the right side, or it would
So
be
like
the
where
right.
like the creases of the hat are.
Well, okay, so
Oh wait, it's right here.
yeah, this one was good too,
My freak. So there's one area code on the Rays hat.
and it's Tampa's hat when Tampa actually plays in St. Petersburg. And it says Cigar City or something like that on it,
Yeah.
which is Tampa.
Tampa Bay, Cigar City, and then it has their like old Rays logo.
Well, that's Ray.
I know.
So of course you would keep that, but I mean you need to see what it has like on the. It has an orange on the side.
There's a
It's
thing in the front, a palm tree.
right. The
says
state of
Rays,
Florida. It says
Rays.
Rays. A flamingo. That was the other one.
Do you know how many?
That's why I said these were designed by fourth graders, because these are things that
like the Marlins. The Rays got a palm tree, an orange, and a flamingo.
yes, in the same
like the Marlins.
no, because in the same state, the back of the hats are the same. So in California, like all three of the teams or four of the teams in California got Pittsburgh,
What the fuck?
no zip codes or area
That's on the
codes.
front of the hat.
This is the front.
So you were saying, okay, so there's like those three panels, right?
Uh-huh.
Or those two panels on the front that cover like right here.
Yeah.
So there's the P down the middle.
Down the middle.
And then
On the left panel
on the left, so like
is one steel bearing
that's like coming at you.
at you.
And then on the left-hand side, there's
Nothing.
the old Pittsburgh Pirates logo of like the pirate with
But
the
that's over the ear.
yeah, that's over the ear. That's like over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. And again,
But
like we were
there's
saying,
still
there's no area codes.
There's still more on the back of the
I wish I could
Pirates
see
one.
the back.
And like yeah, I was telling you that Washington's cap reference 1776 and used the exact same 1776 logo as Philadelphia did. And Philadelphia was the capital of the US at that time. Washington didn't become the capital until 1790.
Jesus.
Yeah, the one for Cleveland, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they put a acoustic guitar.
These hats look like, you're right, like a fourth grader put them together. It also
like you
looks
would like if you were someone like like if you sat like whatever focus group they used.
But do you know how many levels people.
It has to
and
get of
of
approvals.
meetings and
Right.
approvals.
And
These
designs.
hats, yes, and how many designs this probably took, and how many focus groups this probably took
That's what I'm saying.
to get a hat that makes it look like it was put together by a fourth grader.
Find
Doesn't have all of the stuff for every single team correct, and literally looks like they took embroidered stickers and then were like, and then somebody just went, all right, I'm just gonna randomly throw these on and whatever sticks.
right. Find the Atlanta hat if you can. It has 9 area codes on it, and it looks absolutely ridiculous.
That's like I don't know how you make a hat like that.
Here you go.
Of course. This looks awful. Oh, would you look at that?
Because
page
New
not
Era
found?
pulled it. But yeah, it has 9 area codes on it, and I have no clue what that is.
Is that a UFO? But why is
What
it?
does that have to do with Atlanta?
I don't.
I don't know what that is. Like, and then it has a pink peach. It's not orange,
No.
right?
What?
It's a pink peach. Well, it's Georgia is the peach state.
No, I know, but like that doesn't also look like a
Peach.
yeah.
And peach has a different meaning these days. A picture of a peach has a different meaning these days than it does, you know.
That's true.
So like
Houston's had they put a stake on the back and they put a rocket.
the
ship.
Rangers got a stake as well because they're also in Texas.
And then they got a rocket ship.
Yeah. Well, the rocket ship makes sense, except these are the things that, like, if you were going to say, tell me what you know,
Houston's
children.
hat included the Florida launched space shuttle.
Oh, that's funny.
I knew there was something wrong with that. Also, this is awful. That to me is probably one of the most.
What are you
annoying
talking
things.
about? Because our listeners have no clue what you're talking
On
about.
every single hat,
The-
they put
The words,
the team name right here. To me, that's awful.
on the back of the hat
On the
over
back
the
of the
MLB
hat.
logo.
Yeah.
At the bottom. See, that's how you do it for our listeners. So,
Somebody goes, this looks like something I'd make in 6th grade computer class with clip art.
that's exactly what like when it has like the Atlanta one, if you can see it up close, when it has the all 9,
Yeah.
like they all like look like they're just jumbled together and bunched together and like hitting against each other. Like it's so weird. And you're like you were saying, like, how does it get past?
Like, how is there
How
not
does it?
at least one person in New Era
Who's like
that went,
no,
hold on. Wait a minute.
no,
Like, stop it.
because that's what anyone could have done. They could have just like that's what should have happened. Like no,
That's not the right one.
no, it's not.
That looks a lot better.
It looked okay.
It looked, yeah, I mean there weren't 18.2 area codes. I'm not gonna be able to
You're not gonna find it.
now.
Just go to Google Images instead of to Twitter.
Braves
Mark it.
local.
Go to Images. This is really exciting for our listeners, I know. So, while you're doing that, that's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Doesn't that look ridiculous? And you should see like the Yankees and the
Like, how? How did that get through? Probably over 100 people, maybe more. I mean, was this just like a quick 10-minute thing?
I
Like,
don't know.
was this just a one meeting, one design? Like, I mean, we've heard about the problems with New Era, not paying the bills, but like this is like what even I don't.
And by paying the bills, you mean the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, they did have a problem paying
Paying
the
the
bills because
bills,
they didn't
'cause
pay the
they-
bills.
They couldn't pay the bills, so the Buffalo Bills. So, but yeah, so that's enough on the hats. I know it's brutal.
A rising phoenix?
That's what I was trying to figure out too, like what that means, or is that supposed to be?
What does this
Like,
one
I don't
have to
I
do
don't
with them?
get what the logos for Atlanta are, because I don't know what the one on the front is either.
Like what is that? What does a rising phoenix have to do with the Atlanta Braves? What's the one on the front? The UFO? Here's the front.
I think Atlanta has some kind of like circle thing,
A
or
pink peach and that.
like Atlanta has some kind of. Like, I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't remember. And so anyway, so these are going to be collector's items really fast.
Yeah, because they're so terrible.
Well, and they're gonna be off the
They're
market,
gone. Yeah.
right? So
It's interesting though now that you're seeing Twitter start to influence companies into knowing when they made a bad
a huge
decision.
like,
You've made a huge mistake.
I think I made a huge mistake, right? You just yeah. So all right. So last thing. Oh, how about this? And I don't know if you thought about this or not, but Alex Ovechkin and Steph Curry are both free agents.
Mhm.
Is that mind blowing? It kind of blows my mind.
I don't think it blows my mind as much as yours because didn't you live through periods of time where
There wasn't free agency.
yeah. And like I know you were probably really young for that, but I still think that
I was pretty young. I mean, I've never lived through an era where there wasn't some kind of free agency,
Right.
because I mean, baseball broke through with that in like the 60s.
but you still lived
and
in an era in a couple of sports where you saw the beginning of the era where players left more often.
Hmm.
You saw that increase. I don't think that's as significant for me because I see it all the time.
But even for Curry and Ovechkin, like I think that's where it's like it hits heavy for me, because I'm like, wow, like those are guys who you're like, yes, most likely they'll re-sign with their
Yeah.
teams, but could you imagine if they didn't?
I think it would be more significant if they didn't.
Well, of course.
But I think that
I mean, I think that's
you
where
just saying
I think
they're
that's
gonna-
where my brain went, was like, could you
right,
imagine
if
if they
I'm
didn't?
imagining if I'm assuming they will.
I'm just saying, like, could you imagine if they didn't?
If they didn't, then we have news for like 3 weeks.
Right. So Paul writes in and says Watson potential destinations should include Green Bay, Denver, and Minnesota. If we're basing it on locations that shouldn't become problematic for a serial massage customer.
Well, we vetoed Minnesota because they're the massage parlor capital of the world,
Yeah,
according to you.
I have no clue on that. I was just
No, I mean those locations make sense. I don't know about
no.
Denver though. Weed. I don't know.
If he's doing weed in his basement, he's not going out then.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know.
I don't know. I was just thinking of just like the next thing we know is I was in a stupor and I accidentally touched her.
Right. Oh, that's fair. I mean, not fair, but
Fair to think it would happen.
yeah. So, parting thoughts.
Hit 'em with it. What you got? Anything?
No.
Okay.
What do you think of the Bills vaccination situation?
Oh Jesus Christ! I don't know. I'll leave.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm
Okay,
just gonna say,
okay.
I'll leave people with this. And you were talking about George Floyd earlier, and I'm just gonna piggyback off that.
Yeah.
Everything he said, I stand by, and I might repeat a little bit, but
Go ahead.
this won't be long. Obviously, like he was saying, we do stand by George Floyd and George Floyd's family, and if you don't like that, okay,
Don't watch our show.
right. You don't have to listen. You can go to a different podcast. Sitting here a year removed from that feels like it was 8.
8 years.
Yeah. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were doing the George Floyd thing, but it also feels like the period of time when that episode happened and everything else that happened in between feels like it took so long ago. And I'm kind of stealing this a little bit from SNL, but Chris Rock did bring up a good point. This happened in the same year of an SNL season. Chris Rock posted the first episode a week after or 3 weeks after the president said COVID doesn't exist, and then in the same week he hosted SNL. He got COVID.
Right. The president got COVID.
Yes, Trump got COVID.
Right.
And that feels so long ago. And we have all been through this pandemic, and we've all gotten through it. The people, the ones that are still here and obviously haven't passed, we've all gone through it somehow. And we've all seen the moments of great triumph, the pots and pans for the workers. And we've seen those videos of the grandparents, the ones in the nursing home and the other ones sitting outside, then they're just talking to each other through a window because they can't go in. And I know we still have so much work to do with the status of our country, with where we need to be in race relations, but I still think that there has to be, when we have these conversations, a sense of hope for the future. And I'm not saying you didn't bring that. I just think yours was more a straightforward, we stand with the family kind of
I'm
thing.
not offended.
But I still think that when we have,
I mean, you're
these-
talking about the pandemic as much as you're talking about George Floyd. So
I'm just saying everything as a whole. I mean, when we look at it all, I mean, I think especially with the
That's a good
pandemic
point.
now, we should have some hope. We're getting on the other side of this. We're not there.
so please keep wearing your mask.
Listen to people that are a lot smarter than I am and have been doing this for a lot longer than you or I have. Listen to those people. Don't listen to your friend Rob who sits in his mom's basement, okay? Listen to the doctors, listen to the epidemiologists who have devoted their lives to finding out these things. The science exists for a reason. Let's just follow that, and I'll leave it on that. But when it comes to the George Floyd, I think though we also have to view these conversations with a sense of hope. I mean, a year ago before this all happened, did we really think we were maybe going to be signing that president, that first of all, that there would be President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in office, and Kamala Harris being a woman? Did we ever think that would happen a year ago? And on top of that, too, did we ever think that what happened after George Floyd would happen? I mean, we're maybe going to sign into law a national policing law that doesn't target minorities, that will help police get the training that they actually need. It will help, honestly, communities rebuild. It will help these run. I mean, we live in Buffalo. We see these places. You take the wrong turn and all of and you're like, what happened?
Right.
And we're not the only state that's like that. And and I think that's what we should take out of this, with this being a year removed. Let's not think of all the bad that happened. The guy's in jail. He's gone forever. I mean, he's guilty on all 3 accounts. So we know at bare minimum it's 25 to life. So, and he's definitely not getting out. And let's take the hope in that. I mean, that's justice. When was the last time we saw that happen? That's a huge step forward. It might not feel like it's a huge step forward, but it's at least a step forward. I mean, at least, even though we might be taking a step forward and 2 steps back, at least we're taking 1 forward. And that's the way I think we should view this on the anniversary of his death. Yes, we stand with the family, and it's a terrible incident, but honestly, it brought us hope. It brought us change. It brought about a different era. I think it brought about a sense of awareness, a sense of actually wanting to be a human and wanting to care about each other. Everybody, not just yourself and your family, or not just you and your race, you know. And obviously there are people who
I mean,
are
we
like
haven't
that
taken
already.
off our Black Lives Matter,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. So
wristbands since when? I can't
something
remember.
happened. So
Yeah.
it feels like it was 8 years ago. So I think, you know, it's been a long time, but the amount of things we've done. I mean, we voted Trump out of office. We did all this stuff. We were getting vaccinated. You know, over 50% of Americans are vaccinated. We're about to sign into, we're getting close to passing a national policing law. There's more things to be hopeful about than there are not. And the one thing that we have to remember is to keep going. At bare minimum. Why am I getting? Woo!
You choked me up, so you did good.
Is at bare minimum to keep going, to keep pushing for this stuff, because without that, then we fall back into where we were, and we can't go back to that. If we really want to call ourselves the best country in the world and all this stuff and feel a sense of national pride, we can't go back to where we were. And I also don't think we can.
I'm proud. I'm proud to be your dad.
So yeah,
I want you to know that. I'm proud to hear you say that, because I think generationally there are different thoughts,
absolutely. I mean, I think your generation definitely thinks about
more
all of this
negativity.
more. Well, not even just that, but I think you think about this differently, because I mean, you guys went through the King riots.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't. I mean, this kind of was our King riots in
This
a
is
sense.
more severe, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think it was more severe because it was more widespread, but um, still, you know, I think with you guys being older, I think that's what it comes down to, really. And you know, you guys have experience. I mean, you guys have experience.
Mhm.
I mean, we talked about that with all those playoff teams. How many times did I say experience matters? Experience matters when you're thinking about these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe my generation's going into a little, you know, deer in the headlights, Bambi-esque, but I also think that's what we need right now.
It's good to hear from someone of at the end of Generation X, to hear someone who would be the end of millennials, I guess.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. Apparently, I'm in a group that doesn't really know what we want to be called right now. So
yeah, well,
that's
I
where
am
we're at.
too. Like a 5-year gap kind of group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's heartwarming for me to hear that from you, and knowing that your generation is hopeful and not tired, because I think we're tired.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone is, but I think that it's, yeah, I think, you know, it's time. You know, I mean, this is what we were talking about with, I mean, you know, I always do that. I always bring it back to something, but you know, we were talking about the SNL, the end of SNL, and you know, it's possible that Kate, Keenan, Cecily, and 80, and I'm forgetting somebody else. Pete, yeah, are all gonna leave. And
Right.
that ushers in the new group. And you know what? I said to you, it feels like it's time.
Keenan's gonna stay.
Keenan's gonna stay because I'm pretty sure that place would explode without him in it. But yeah, I mean, for people like Kate and Cecily and 80, I mean, they're doing all those things and they're doing all this stuff. And it's not like the young people are bad either. And it's time.
Yeah.
And I
Change
think
happens, but
right.
I think in politics it just happens so much slower.
Yes.
And that, like I said, in my generation, we're tired. We're tired of a lot of the things that maybe you guys aren't tired of yet, because you guys
We're tired. I think we're
you
all
guys
tired of
still
the same
have-
things, but I think it's easier for us to say we can keep going because we don't have the experience of the failures like you guys had. And I'm not saying your generation failed or the generation before us failed,
no,
but I'm just saying we haven't experienced what you guys have
you're just
yet.
younger.
So we're able to say, yeah, this might suck, but that doesn't mean that we can't fix it. I mean, look at all those kids in the March for Our Lives.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a bunch of preppy high school kids who went, I don't really want to get shot by guns anymore. Why is this happening? I mean, who would have thought that would have happened, especially from the gifted school for gifted kids that they came from or whatever it was. Like, we generally think of those people out of the realm of even thought or
Yeah.
out of the realm of reality. And those were the kids who came together and said, I don't think I want to be scared in my classroom anymore. I don't want to run through a drill. I don't want my teachers to have to run through a drill just in case a shooter comes in. I watched a TikTok the other day of this teacher who quit in the middle of a school board meeting after reading a letter to them because first they wanted to force the teachers to come back to school and to teach full-time, full classrooms, no spacing. Second, he also then brought up that these same teachers were told by like a what are those things? A conference that the school paid for school shootings that they had to take over the summer. They were told by the instructor in there that if a student is shot and they look like they're going to die, you are not allowed to help them. You have to move on and help the people that you can save. And the teacher said, I should not have to decide as a teacher who has no medical experience whatsoever what student I can and cannot save. I should not have to decide as a teacher what student I have to save, period. They're my students. Why am I making the decision of life and death? And he quit. He ended the thing and he said, and I put in my 2 weeks resignation and I could not be any happier. And he walked right out. And I think that is that defines what my generation is trying to bring. It's all it, I think all we're just trying to say is it's BS. And I'm not saying you guys didn't do that before us, and I'm not saying any other
No.
generation
And
didn't do
you
it
can't
before that.
because I mean we were young as well.
Right.
once, right. And we had our own missions and our own things to do.
And now it's just a different mission, but it's time for us to take that mission. And that's my opinion.
And I just feel like the stakes are a lot higher.
Yeah. So give it over to the
The world-
inexperienced 22-year-olds and
In the world,
23-year-olds.
and we're putting it in your hands. And we're putting it in your hands. So thank you, Paul. That's very nice of you, what you said.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So with that, shall we wrap it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good now. Right? I had 2 rants today.
As I said, I am proud to be your father. I am proud to know I raised you right. And I'll tell anyone I know that I raised you right. So, and I know it's my fault you are who you are, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So with that, everyone stay safe. Please vaccinate yourself if you haven't already. Stay healthy. The pandemic isn't over. Stay smart. We like to have smart listeners. Remember that Black Lives Matter, and remember to love each other. Thank you. I love you, kiddo.